when we get enough people on and get it going here and get Mike on this week and see his comments. You need me to read you the comments?
What? Read me the comment. Can you see?
Is it on, Courtney?
Yeah.
So it's up now?
Yep.
Let me see what we got here.
I'm glad.
Yep, we got it right here. Here you go, look at it.
I'm glad we're in the playground.
Oh, yeah, I got your phone off here. Oh.
Okay, we're live. Welcome everybody to Fishing's Legends Live, our first podcast. Mike C right here, Scott Hamrick, Jason Aker, with our very special guest, Aric Dwyer from the Lake Hickory area. So we'll be going through a lot of stuff tonight, a lot of exciting stuff. First thing we're going to be doing is going to the Spotlight series, where Eric's going to tell us about a lot of the things he's been doing as far as his tournaments lately at Hickory. I try to keep up with the local area, the local fishermen, and I try to, keep up with who's doing good. And this year, I got to be honest, I've almost got carpal tunnel congratulating this guy. I mean, every week I pull it up, Aric Dwyer first, Aric Dwyer first. So congratulations. So anyway, for the first guest, it was important to me and Jason and Scott as well to have Aric on and tell us in the spotlight what he's doing. Now, I will mention one thing. We're in a building, and there is a storm approaching, and hopefully it don't hit us. If it does, for safety reasons, we may go off, come back on as soon as it's over, but hopefully that don't happen. So anyway, without further ado, Aric Dwyer. So welcome.
Thanks, Mike.
I appreciate you being here. And I guess the first question I have is, how many tournaments have you won this year? I mean,
well, since we started in May, we've won 10.
10.
10 since
10.
And how many tournaments have there been so far?
Between day and nighttime tournaments, I fished 16. So I've won 10 out of 16.
That's pretty good odds.
He says we need to turn up the volume, so y'all talk a little bit louder because it's probably not.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We can do that.
Okay.
Okay. So you've won 10 out of 16 tournaments.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I think everybody like to know sort of how you did that. Sort of recap. Obviously, you're doing something a little different from a lot of other folks. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Well, one of the main things is versatility.
Okay.
We've been catching on varieties of baits every week.
Okay.
One of the key baits is probably my partner said it, and the exact blade and spare baits.
Okay.
And that's probably been one of the key factors early experiment like to get us started.
Okay.
But I mean, I range anywhere from crankbait, spinner baits, bed fishing, jig, drop shot, jig and spoon, just a variety of everything.
Dang, that is a variety.
That's
Usually every week I have 25 rods on my boat.
25 rods.
Oh, that's sort of like 3 apiece.
I keep 14 on my front deck.
14?
Yeah.
I'd step on it.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to be careful when I'm strapping them, they don't fall in the water.
Okay. Wow, that's impressive. That really is. So, pattern-wise, depth-wise, can you share?
Let's just get to the bottom line. Mike wants to know how you're catching all these fish. He wants your hole. He wants to know exactly what you're doing. Do you want to bring the rod and reels and show them to you how he's doing
Scott,
it?
we'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just jumping the gun, I guess.
Yeah, you are. Let Aric. Aric, you hadn't won 10 tournaments in 5 years. That's what Aric.
Really?
What he's done. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, everybody knows me, especially on Lake Hickory, they know I love to fish deep.
Okay.
So that's why I spend most of my time. What I call deep, people say 20 foot's deep. To me, 20 foot's not deep.
Really?
If you get past 25, then it starts getting deep. We normally fish 15 to 25.
Okay.
What's the deepest you fished, actually?
This time of year and in the winter, we'll stay, I found some last week, if they're still there, I'll be catching 40 to 60 foot.
So basically, they're pretty just easy to fizz when they come up.
Yeah.
Pretty much, okay, because their bladder will be blowed out of their mouth probably.
And this is large now?
Yes.
In spots?
Yeah.
Wow.
Mostly largemouth. We've caught some spots this year, but it's mostly been largemouth.
Well, but fishing that deep, what exactly are you looking for?
Just history.
Just history.
Yeah.
So-
Now, what I'll do is, like, especially this time of year, winter's a little easier for me fishing deep because I kind of know where they set up. But this time of year, I'll pay a little spot and see if I see the fishing shed down
Exactly.
there. If I see them down in there, I'll throw a few times, see if I start getting bit.
So I got a question about that.
Yeah.
Idling over 60 foot of water versus 15 to 20 like myself and most people idle over. The fish can't look the same in 60 foot as they do 15, or do they, or am I wrong?
No, they don't look the same because we're not sure if it's catfish, stripers. But if we see the shad around, we got a pretty good idea it's either bass or stripers.
Okay.
So we're gonna fish for them and see if we get bit.
Okay. Wow. You know, that's sort of, I may be wrong, but that's sort of uncharted territory in that deep of water. I would think, at least I know it is in this area.
He's
I
got it
don't
to
know.
himself.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you feel that way? I mean, is that true, or is
Yeah.
it different on Hickory?
No, because there's not many people, like people that sit way off the bank, they might be up a point or something and fishing like 20 foot.
Okay.
But a lot of times I'm making a cast where people's boats sitting and fishing out from there.
Wow. Wow.
Harold, would you have ever thought to do that?
Well,
I don't think I have that much line on my reel.
I've seen your reels. I don't think
No,
you do.
I don't.
You don't. You don't.
20
See,
foot-
you would
20
probably
foot's
do
very
that.
deep for
You
me.
would do this. You'd
I
do
like
this.
fishing deep, but, you know, I've never ventured out.
Yeah.
Love this.
The main thing about it too is having confidence to do it because it takes up a lot of time fishing that deep.
Slow
It's
fish.
slow fish.
So how many years have you been doing
We've been fishing deep for at least 15.
this? 15 years? Okay, so I gotta ask it, does anybody else in that area fish that deep?
My buddy Stacy Richards.
Okay. Okay, so I got another question. So after tonight, how many people around Hickory's gonna be?
Well, see, that's the thing. During the winter time, everybody that fishes the winter trail knows where we fish. They know we fish deep, but we never have anybody on any of our holes. I think what it is you have to have the confidence.
Right.
And you have to fish so slow.
Yeah.
There's not many, I don't have the confidence to
And
sit
there's
there and
certain
fish that
areas,
slow.
certain
Right.
areas he's fishing, if he's got a bluff that's, you know, 100, 200 yards long, there's probably a sweet spot on it. that's-
Yeah,
Exactly.
little sweet
Size
spots.
of your boat.
And when you find them, you're gonna catch multiples.
Yeah.
And you know because of history?
Yeah, they for some reason on the bluffs, it's not like brush piles. I'll fish a brush pile one year, get bit like crazy, next year never get bit.
That's how it is.
Now those deep spots, for some reason, they reload every year.
Wow.
Right on the same spots.
But could that be because, it's not getting any pressure?
That's the only thing I can figure is
Okay.
lack of pressure.
That is probably something to do with the current right there. or something.
Yeah.
And this is the space that they stack up on.
Yeah, a little current breaks
Yeah.
or something.
Okay.
And bait.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, on the brush pile, how long do you think a brush pile, if you said went and sank a brush pile this weekend, how long do you think that brush pile is good for? As far as holding
The
fish?
history, brush that we've actually put in, I've got them up to 6-7 years old.
Really? After you put it in,
Yeah.
6, 7 years? Okay, okay. That's interesting.
But I guess it depends on what type of brush you're putting in too, you know, if it's pine or
Yeah.
hardwood or whatever you're using.
Is one better than the other?
I like oak.
Okay. Because it lasts longer?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. So what about baits, Eric? I mean, when you're fishing that deep, and I know you don't always, I mean, I'm guessing, but I'm thinking probably every tournament you win, it's not 40 to 60.
No.
But, and I don't know what percentage that would be, but when you're fishing that deep, what baits do you rely on? I mean, what baits are effective in that deep of water?
Jig.
That's a quick answer.
Yeah, everybody knows I make my own jigs and I love to fish a jig.
Okay.
Are you throwing a football in a jig or?
3/4 ounce.
All right, we'll get-
3-4 ounces. To get it that deep, it's probably gonna have to be 3.
Now, see, when we first started, before I started making my own jigs, we were just using 1/2 ounce jigs and it just took forever. The first
Yeah,
time
you can't
I
get it
used a
done.
3/4, I said, man, this is nice, I can fish faster.
Yeah. Are you throwing like a big chunk on it or like a big zoom chunk or what kind of trailer do you use?
I throw up a 5-inch trailer on
Bingo, we're getting somewhere now. Good
That's a
question.
big profile thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna elaborate any more now, or just?
It's a 5-inch crawl.
Okay, well, that's probably enough information.
No, a lot of people know when I throw it, but like I said, it's a confidence thing. It's just like me. I've seen a lot of fishermen, I've seen Scott a lot on normal, fishing shallow. I don't feel comfortable shallow. I can fish shallow, I've won tournament shallow, but, it's more of my wheelhouse if I'm on deep.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, it's a specific niche that you have and you've developed. And, personally, I applaud you. There's not many people that's fishing that deep that I know. And I know a lot of people that fish. And that's incredible to me that you catch fish that size, that deep. My guess is after this podcast, there'll be a lot more people exploring out deep. So
We're getting a lot of people on here saying we're getting the echo and two people talking at once. It's not coming through good. Y'all, this is our first podcast really doing this, so we're trying to figure this out. But hopefully people can hear us good enough, and we'll get this figured out. If it doesn't turn out like we want it to, we'll try to change things a little bit.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so 10 wins. I mean, that's just incredible to me. I don't know, that's in 1 year.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Hey, we were, how many wins did we get last year? It was about 10 or 12, I think. And we were just happy because we did it in a year.
Well, I'll tell you what.
He's done it in a couple months.
No, I know. And what amazes me is, you and I went to Hickory to fish Terry Herman's tournaments, Wildcat tournaments last year. And some others in this area. Tim Chapman went. I mean, we would see him almost every week. And I know, after fishing with these guys, I know how hard it is to go to Hickory and win. I mean, there's a great group of talented fishermen at Lake Hickory.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, do you agree, Jason?
There always has been. I mean, I fished up there for years, and if you win up there, you've done something.
Absolutely. And to win 10, that's crazy.
I got tired of congratulating him every week on Facebook.
I did too. No, I did too.
Terry's posting the winners, and
I did too.
there's Eric's face again.
I did too.
But,
I did too.
I mean, that's pretty awesome what you've done.
It is. So, we're gonna, I'm sure you've heard, we're gonna have a challenge with Hickory fishermen. You'll be one of them.
Yep.
Annette Bowman is putting together the team. You probably talked to Annette.
Yep.
Last few days. So, I wouldn't want Annette's job to have to pick 4 fishermen from that area. I wouldn't. But it would be easy to pick you. The other ones, I have no idea what that would look like. But I'll let Annette do that. I don't envy her job on that. And you probably got a good idea of who that'll be. I don't know if you do or not. But what we're going to do is we'll have a challenge, and it'll be the best 2 out of 3. After talking to Scott and Jason, we're not just going to drive up to Lake Hickory and get our butts handed to us. Okay?
That's
Does
right.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is we'll draw out of a hat where we'll fish. And the challenge is whoever wins who wins twice out of 3 tournaments will be the winner.
Okay.
And it'll be Wiley, Hickory, Norman. You
Top
agree?
of chain.
Oh, yeah.
Top of chain, and we're
They're on the top
gonna,
of chain.
Yeah.
and we're gonna have it live. So,
Yeah.
I mean, people like the live, they like to watch the fishing live, so that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'll pick my team. Are you gonna be on my team?
I hope not. I'd rather fish with Jason.
Well, no, I was just thinking about, it would be me, Hoover, and Jason, and we pick somebody else. It's hard to get you up in the mornings.
Oh, I'll get up to that.
Okay.
Because I think he's got a good chance at really giving you a beat down. But I sort of be there to see it.
Well, let's just hope he don't pull Hickory out.
I do hope he don't pull Hickory out.
Because if he pulls Hickory out, I'm pretty sure it's gonna go to distance. He's gonna go 3 and not just 2.
Yeah, I think so. I hope Hickory don't come out at all myself.
I don't mind.
No offense.
I don't mind Hickory.
Okay, so should we draw out? Can we draw out?
Yeah, we can.
Is that
Well,
okay?
just let him draw it.
We'll let Aric draw, so, you know, it'll be fair. We got
Reach there and grab one.
we got 3 lakes in here. So whichever one you draw out,
Now, they might all 3 be Norman, but I did make them up, so it could all 3 be Norman. You could be set up on that.
if it is, we'll do it again. All right, so you'll pick, and we'll put it in order, what lakes we'll fish.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Please don't pick it first. I'm gonna look at it.
The first one is.
Oh, what?
Now, how did that happen?
Can he see through it?
I thought I put Norman in there.
All right, we're going to Hickory.
Well, looks like we're fishing twice.
Twice.
3 times,
Three times.
probably,
All
yeah.
right, then
Maybe
another
just
one.
twice.
Boy, you did good on the first one, I'll say that.
Norman.
And so the last one's Wiley.
We're going to Hickory at his time of the year.
So at least
They're almost to my areas now.
Oh, almost.
So we're at least gonna have Hickory and Norman for sure, but maybe all 3. Well, we'll see. So when are we planning on starting this? Or y'all hadn't got your whole team picked out yet,
I don't
right?
think you have.
No, we don't have a whole team, but it'd probably be easier if we just set the dates or whatever, and then to find out who can fish and who can't.
Yeah, because we'll have to arrange it around work schedule.
We will,
Yeah.
and it'll be live.
Okay,
All of it'll be
we'll talk
live.
about that later, make sure everybody is agreeable on it, and then we'll get it out there when we're gonna do it. Okay, what we'll talk about now, Mike?
Okay, all right, thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, we're gonna have a trivia, and we're gonna ask a question, it's a 2-part question. And the winner will get a $25 gift certificate from my favorite Mexican restaurant, Azteca. So go see Alfredo, ask him for a Sea Right lemonade if you like, he'll hook you up.
What exactly is a Sea Right lemonade?
It's a very special margarita.
Really?
Oh, it's really special.
How many of them do you think you've drank in the day?
Probably 2 or 3.
2 or 3?
Yeah.
We didn't say today, in the day.
No, I'm talking about.
Let me ask you something.
No, I'm talking about
When
100.
they name a drink after you, I think you've drank more than 2 or 3.
I said 100, 2 or 300.
Oh, 2 or 300.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so whoever gets the trivia, and you are not eligible.
Okay.
You'll understand why in a minute. So whoever wins $25 gift certificate. 2-part question. So here's the question. Who holds the all-time BASS weight record? What's the weight? Tell me the weight of that record, and tell me who has the record. Who and the weight. First person
Wow.
on here, first person wins.
That's a hard one.
Not for people 45 minutes north of here, maybe.
So you just, don't give a little help, Mike.
Like
All
that.
right, we got a question from
Okay.
Steve Tyler.
Okay.
He's asking, I assume this is for Eric. He
Of course it
said,
is, it's for us.
ask him if the deep jig bite is better when the bait fish are near the bottom versus the top.
Yes.
Okay, Ryan, that's not correct. All time. This can go back a long
This
way.
can go way back.
This can go way back. That's sort of a hint. Okay, so
So if the bait fish are near the bottom, the jig bite's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times we decide how people are gonna fish. So we pull out a wick bird, get out to the main channel, and see how deep the shadow.
Okay. So that kind of sets you talking what kind of depth you're going to be targeting.
Tall ice is the wrong answer, boys. It's the scope. This is maybe a little bit before that time.
maybe.
Tommy Eggers.
Okay,
Oh.
it's a 2-part question.
Yeah.
You probably have the first part right. What is the weight? I'm looking for a weight.
Probably. Does he probably got it right?
He's got it right. What's the weight?
What's the weight?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right, well, while they're guessing, what else are we talking about here?
Okay, let's go to, there's not been a lot of tournaments, but we'll recap some tournaments, in the last week or so. And, let's see, what have we had? We've got,
Well, they're fishing at Erie right now
Okay.
for the FLW Super Tournament. 138.6, is that right?
We've got a winner.
I think we had a ringer on this one.
We've got a winner. Yeah.
Yep.
We've got a winner.
Oh, no, we don't.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
Annette.
okay, oh, we
Yeah.
got, okay, I got,
We
yeah.
got, yep, we've got a winner, Annette Bowman.
She should, because he was a guest appearance at one of our
I
tournaments.
know, I saw that. What a legend.
Okay, well, let's get back to the tournaments here.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna say who it was?
Annette.
Annette.
No.
Blake Honeycutt.
There you go.
Thank you. Blake Honeycutt,
138.6.
138, 6 ounces.
Was it
And
a
I
you
tell-
follow?
Yeah.
It was at Eufaula, and it was actually 3 days. He did
Yeah,
it
3
in
days.
3 days.
Yeah.
And,
What was the fish limit?
but that was a 10 fish limit.
10 fish limit.
10 fish
That
limit.
was that's the catch right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So people thinking 5 fish limit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Oh, back in that day, it was real
Yeah.
good.
Congratulations, Annette. When you come, let me know, and I'll be glad to meet y'all up here. So, you'll love Aztec.
And you'll drink a Sea Right lemonade.
Yes.
Okay, we got it. All right, what are we talking about? Now, we're talking about the tournaments.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I mean, they're up at Erie now. It looks like it's pretty tough if you're scared to make the run, or not scared exactly, but if you don't want to make the run to St. Clair, because that's where the big bag's going from right now, is St. Clair. Erie's kind of iffy, and I think it's been pretty rough, and I think the ones that made the run, they're catching them, and the ones that didn't make the run, they're struggling, I think.
Okay.
I think, and I've really not watched a lot of it, so I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the gist of it is, what I'm getting.
Okay.
So what else we got?
So local, we don't have, still with the virus going on, we still don't have a lot, other than Terry's tournaments every Saturday.
Yeah.
And we got the cat, no, not the cat, I mean the Carolina Crankers was on Norman last
Carolina
weekend.
Crankers was on Norman, and a real good friend of mine, Steve Addington, won that tournament. It was like, what, 19 votes?
19 votes, I think, yep.
He had 11 something. I don't remember the exact weight, but he did a good job. He had 11 something. He
So
won the
it's
tournament.
fairly tough on Norman.
Yep.
Pretty hot, the water's pretty hot.
Yep. All right, coming up, ABA.
ABA's this weekend.
Yep.
Me and Mike actually went out the day before yesterday and did a little pre-practice, and I think we probably wasted our time with this weather coming in, but we caught him good.
Caught him real good.
I really felt good about it too. I looked and seen all these storms going to be rolling in. It's probably going to mess it up, and it's supposed to actually be raining Saturday. They say 80% chance, so it could change things a lot, but it is what it is.
How many votes does ABA?
Well, I mean, they've been getting in the 50s. This one might be a little lower than that because it's so hot. August, a lot of guys just don't want to fish this time of year because Norman's a madhouse. But also, it's gonna be rainy and stormy all day. There probably won't be a lot of boat traffic out there, so it might not be so bad. So.
But if you'll remember, the night before we fished, or the afternoon before we fished, the other day, it stormed.
Well, that's the iffy thing though, because it might have stormed here and it might have stormed at the other places, but it might not have stormed on the lake. So Roger said it didn't storm in his house. He's in Mooresville, so he's basically on the lake. I'm on the lake, but I wasn't home, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. Hey, if they bite like they did when we went, I like your chances. I'll say that.
Well, I got a good pattern going if it'll
Any-
hold up, but
anything-
I don't know if it'll hold up. I ain't gonna get too excited about it.
Well, good luck. I hope you do well. Okay, another thing we talked about doing was all of us have fished so much. We have fished so many years and been in so many tournaments. All of us have funny stories, humorous stories of things that's happened to us. And we thought we would do that on this podcast. We'd tell some of these stories.
Tell us a funny story, Mike.
Well, I mean, one of y'all can start out.
No, I'd rather you start. You're the oldest. You're the eldest statement by a lot. You're pretty old. So
Okay.
we better let you, before you forget the story. We'll let you go ahead. So go ahead and lay it out.
Okay. All right, years ago, I fished the redhead tournament on Lake Water.
Lake Water.
Former BFL tournament, was the rest.
That's what it
Yes,
is,
that's
CFL.
exact. Thank you,
Exactly.
Jason. Yeah. And so, I go into the tournament. It's like, I believe, the next to the last tournament of the year. I'm leading the points. I'd won it the year before. I'm leading the points. And I draw this young
You want to
kid.
say it one more time? You'll use leading the points.
I was.
Okay.
leading the points.
I just want to, I didn't, you've already said it 2 or 3 times.
I mean, I know-
I just want to know if you want to say it.
I know you've probably never been in that position.
Well, no, yes, I have, sir.
So anyway, I draw this young kid, And he comes up to me and, you know, we talk about what we're gonna do the next day, and I'm catching him on a jig, on some docks, some special docks.
Some special docks.
Yeah, and so he comes up, he says, okay, he says, I'm so glad I drew you, Mr. Searock. That's what he said. This kid was like 18 or 19 years old. And so I said, well, good, we'll have a good day tomorrow. I said, well, what are we gonna be doing? I said, well, I'm throwing a jig. He said, what do you think I should do? And I thought about that a minute. And I thought to myself, this is bad, I'm gonna go ahead and
Go ahead and admit it.
I thought, this kid looks like a pretty good fisherman, and I don't want him catching a great big fish behind me on a jig, because they're eating a jig, and I know they're eating it. So I said, you know what? I said, I think you should throw a worm behind me. And he said, thank you. I appreciate you being honest and telling me that. I'm going to throw a worm behind you tomorrow. I said, okay,
I pretty
good.
much know where the story's going.
So I go into Taylor's Creek, pull up on the pier, never forget it. Pull up, I make about 3 casts on it before he sees it, and he flips a worm behind me and says, get the net, Mr. Seawright. So I get the net, I met a good keeper, go to the next pier, same thing happens. Go to the next pier, same thing happens. So about 8 o'clock, he's got a limit. I hadn't had a bite. He's still throwing that worm.
See what line gets you?
So he walks up in front of the boat, and he said, Mr. Seawright, this is about 9 o'clock. He said, Mr. Seawright, listen. He said, I can't tell you how much it means to me that you was honest with me and told me what to do. Cause it
Made you
works.
feel like a heel.
He said, cause it worked so good. And I busted out laughing. I just started laughing. He says, what's funny? I said, nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting exactly
Karma.
what I got exactly what I deserved. My butt handed to me.
So let me guess, he won, he
No,
won?
no, I was sweating bullets, but I ended up coming back and catching a limit in a pocket about 2 o'clock.
Really?
I was struggling, sweating bullets. But that taught me a very valuable lesson.
What lesson was that, Mike?
Don't be lying about what people should throw. Just either say, I'd rather not say, or tell the truth. That was the lesson I learned.
Okay, so I guess our storyline today is co-anglers.
That's fine.
I probably gotta get a co-angler story.
Okay.
You got a good co-angler?
I go pretty good.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, mine's actually, the one that sticks out in my mind is a good friend of mine, and we were actually fishing a team tournament. And it's cold, it's in March, and the tournament was on Moss Lake. I know some of you guys are familiar with it. They used to have a big tournament on that lake every year, and the first year we fished it, I think me and Alan Aker won the tournament. And then the next year I come back, something happened, Alan couldn't fish, so I got a buddy of mine to fish with me. I'm not gonna say his name because it'd be pretty embarrassing. But he,
Embarrassing that he fished with you?
well, no, it's embarrassing about the story I'm fixing to tell. But anyway, we put the boat in the water, back above the water anyway. He goes to park the truck, and I go pick him up on the dock and everything, and he hops in the boat, and we're kind of island out. Well, anyway, going out, kind of getting away from the crowd or whatever, he said, hey, there's my buddy up there on the dock. Take me up there so I can bum something off of him. On the bum of a cigarette.
Really?
Yeah, so anyway, I take him back to the dock, and he hops off and goes up there to his buddy to get him a cigarette. And as he's coming back, you know, I kept the boat right there, and as he's coming back to get into the boat, he goes to step onto the boat and misses.
Oh, really?
And in front of, there were at least 100, 150 people there watching, and he doesn't even watch. And I'm telling you, it's cold. It's in the first of March. He fell straight in. I mean, and
You didn't laugh though, did you?
oh
You laughed at your partner?
yeah. I mean, what can you do?
What would you have done?
Well, first off, I wouldn't have been partnered with somebody that couldn't step into a boat.
I don't know, man. It was pretty bad. He had to fish. Well, I had a rain food in the boat, and he took,
So you wore your rain
he
suit the rest
wore
of
the
the
rain
day?
food the rest of the day, and that's all they had on, but it was cold too. And, that was,
So it was pretty funny that
yeah,
day.
that's one I'll never forget.
I'm sure.
All right, well, here's my co-ed
All right.
It's been about 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know how exactly, maybe 6, something, I don't know, 4 or 5, I think. They had a BFL at Murray, and I asked my buddy, I said, you wanna go down there and fish that BFL at Murray? Cause I went fishing South Carolina. So let's go down and fish the BFL at Murray. Well, matter of fact, we ain't signed up yet, let's just go fish Friday. If I get a limit Friday, we'll get the tournament. So we fished Friday, I had about 11 pounds. He said, well, you got a limit, we're gonna fish? I said, yeah, let's sign up. So we signed up. So we go out that morning, and the wind's blowing this day. I'm talking about 20, constant 20, 25, 30 mile hour gusts.
What lake was it?
Murray, she was rough.
About took a boat on that day.
So anyway, we start out, I go where I was catching fish. I was getting bit up the river, so I went up the river, and I fished for about an hour. Never got a bite. And I was catching pretty good on this one place. I thought I could catch it. Never got a bite. Finally, I hooked one. It's 15 inches. Fished for another hour. Never got a bite. I looked at him. I said, buddy, so we're up here in the river. I said, I know a place down in, what's that creek down the lake on the left? Bear Creek. I got a place in Bear Creek. I think we can catch him, but boy, it's not going to be a good ride getting there. So I said, you better buckle in. So we buckle in, we go down there, and I got this one spot I can throw a crankbait, and I can usually, if you hit that spot, you're gonna get a bite. I'll pull up there, I'll throw, crank it, hit the spot, I get hooked one. It's about 3, 4 pounds, it comes off. I said, man, you believe that? I'll throw out there again, 4 pounds. Throw out there a couple more times, don't get a bite. So I said, let's go, we'll come back and hit this again in a little bit. So we go out, we fish around, we don't get a bite, we go back there, line it up again, throw out there again, 4 pounder. So I got 2 4 pounders and a 15 incher. I'm like, man, this might be a good day if I can get a limit now. So we go around, we go out and we start fishing again. I pull up on these 2 docks. I catch about 3 3/4, and I catch another one, probably close to 5 pounders. I'm like, man, I got him now. If I can get rid of this 15 incher, I said, I'm really gonna have him. So I go back to my spot again, throw out there, 3 1/2. I got like 21, 22 pounds. I said, all right, well, let's go out here in Bear Creek, let's fish around a little bit, and if I catch him, we'll come back here, you know, if we don't get bit, we'll come back and I'll hit the spot one more time, maybe I can pull out that 15 inch. No, I already caught out the 15 inch. I said, let's go out and we're going to fish around and we're going to come back and see if we can catch a bigger. So we go out there and I go across this point and I hit a rock pile, and I mean, a rock pile. And I mean, it about took the motor off the boat. I trimmed the motor up. It had a hole this big. Yes, it had a hole this big in the gear case. But it was still going to gear and it was still running. I said, man, I got him good. I said, we got to get back. I said, because this thing's going to lock up sometime today. Because it's getting water all in it. So I took my time. We got back near Drew Island, and the wind was blowing. I bet it was blowing. It was this roll was going into this island down the stretch of bank. There was this rolling in there. So I throw out there, hang another one. I said, man, this is a damn big in here. I couldn't hardly get it in. I got it in. It was hooked in the top of the head. 5 pounder. I'm like, man, I got it now. And I'm going down that bank, and I'm catching 3 pounder after 3 pounder, and I'm just throwing them back. We finally get down to near the end of the stretch of bank, and he looks at me and he says, man, I got one fish, and it barely touched 14 inches. Man, I want to do good in the point. Will you let me catch a fish? I said, I'll tell you what, bud. I said, get down in the box there. I give him the bait. I said, I'll hang him myself. I'll get that bait right there. I said, I'm going to let you catch one. And I said, one reason you're not catching them, you're cranking the bait too slow. It's going, you know, the water's cold. People think, no, I'm cranking it fast. So, you know where the story's going. So I turned the boat so he can throw right down. I said, go ahead and throw it in front of him. I swear on the 3rd cast, he said, hold on, I'm hung up. And I see his line doing this right here. I said, oh no, you're not hung up. 8 pounder. Now I come in, I had 23 something. I think Lineberger fished that one. He had 24 something. It took 25 to win. I'd have had the 8 pound, I'd have had 27 pounds. But see, I'm a lot nicer. You don't lie to my co-English.
Well, wait a minute. My question is, you had 23 pounds and he didn't have nothing. Apparently you did him the same way you did me.
Oh, no, I let him fish.
Yesterday.
No, I let him fish. He was
He let him fish.
It's not my job to drink the belly water.
Jason, the man was fishing in bubbles all day long.
Trolling motorway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's my story of the day.
You got a
You got
story
a,
like
you
that?
got a good story for us?
I have lots of good stuff.
I'm sure you do.
But I know, Mike said somebody talked to him, and I know who it is. One of my fishing partners.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
He's talking about Lake Norman. It's Bellbottom, I was back when the Castle Bridge Trail was still going on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When they did
Zach Bolt.
Yep.
Zach Bolt.
Me and Zach took off fishing, and I didn't go yet. Well, I didn't realize I left the house with none there on. Well, I started to get a little jittery. I didn't have my nicotine or anything, and I told Zach, I said, bud, as soon as that store opens up there by Midway, he said, we need to go up there and get the nicotine in. And we're fishing, and he said, man, I'm so quiet. He said, you're not saying a word. You never stop talking. You're not saying a word. He said, I've never seen you affect somebody like that. I said, yeah, I need nicotine. I can tell I feel a little irritable. Yeah. So, as soon as the store opens up, I run up there and grab these, put it up there, oh, I'm so happy. I said, all right, go back there and stump. We were back there stumping, first 2 casts, caught 3.5 and a 4 pounder back-to-back casts. Zach says, I'll put some in the boat every time that you got some.
I'm sure. Yeah, he messaged me. I was going to bring that up for tonight. So. One more real quick story.
Oh, no.
Because it happened so recent. It was 2 weeks ago, not this past Saturday, Saturday before. Jason and I were at Hart. And we put in at Green Pond, and it's the people that put in at Green Pond, once you dump in, whoever's driving the truck's got a long way to go. So it's dark. Put the boat in, it's dark. I'm sitting there and I'm holding on the pier, and there's boats everywhere, people everywhere. There's 2 small lights up there that you can barely see, but it's still dark. And so Jason's gone, and I see this one guy walking down the pier, this tall guy, and he just steps right into my boat, walks down and sits down in the passenger seat. Just sits there. Just sits there. So I'm looking at him, and finally he looks at me and he jumps. He says, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm Mike Seawright, who are you?" He said, "I am so sorry." And he starts to get up, and I'm like, "No, stay there." I said, "Fish with me today." I said, "I bet you can catch more fish than my buddy Justin."
You was throwing him out of the boat.
That's all.
Yeah.
I can't believe you do that.
Yeah. And everybody.
That's my boat too.
Oh, it was your boat. I mean, I was under the.
I gotta change the flat tire and everything, and you go keep me out of the boat.
Now, I'm going to tell you there's another story.
Hold on now. The story.
We'll tell that later.
We're gonna tell that one later.
Oh, my
Let's
God,
go. Let's
that's
go
a-
to something else.
that's a good-
Because he's gonna tell stories to the cows come
All
home.
right, all right. So, okay, here's one of the last things I got. We've had a lot of following, a lot of likes. This has been sort of overwhelming lately. And I had a lot of calls today from some of your friends. But I also had a call with Gene Webster. Gene Webster's, most of y'all, I'm sure you all know Gene. He's been a good friend of mine for a long, long time. We've fished together for many years. And Gene is, this is opinionated, but my opinion is Gene Webster's by far, right now, the best fisherman on Lake Wath. By far, I don't think it's close.
That's hard for him to say that.
Oh, it's very hard for me to say that, but I tell the truth. And I'm telling the truth now. Gene Webster, I don't see anybody beating him on Lake Wath right now. And there's several reasons. One is because he is one of the best, if not the best, with his electronics. I mean, everybody that in this area that knows Gene and knows electronics knows how good he is with electronics. And
Well, before you go on, I know where the story's going. Mike's not real good with his electronics. So, I bet he's coming on here next as a guest.
How did you know that?
I think this whole podcast is revolving around Mike Seawright's fishing career.
If I haven't had a career by now, it's probably not gonna happen.
I think he's had a career.
Maybe. He's caught a few fish, but I gotta jerk his chain some.
Tell the truth, you aspire to win as much as I
Every time you dump your butt in the water, what are you trying to do?
win.
Try to win.
And if you think, and when you dump your boat in the water, if you don't think you can win, you don't need to be out there.
Well, we're getting ready to go to Hickory. How do you think that's gonna work?
That might be the time I'll say I don't think we got a chance. I'm really glad you set this up, Mike.
Well,
Like I said.
don't worry about it.
But maybe we can get them back at Norman.
No, listen, Aric has agreed to take me for like a week every day and show me where he catches them.
Has he agreed to that? I don't think he's agreed to that.
No, not really. I'm kidding. We're gonna get our butt handed to us. Just go
Well,
ahead.
with personal, we'll get him back.
We're gonna get him back.
And but hey, on live there'll be a lot of trash talking.
Yeah, I know. But to finish my thought, Gene Webster's coming really soon. As soon as he works, he travels a lot. As soon as his schedule allows, he'll be here. He's going to share a lot of electronic stuff. He's going to share a lot of crankbait stuff with us, and he's catching 30, 40 a day.
That's awesome right now.
Yeah.
And he's catching some weight too.
He's catching some big ones, which don't surprise me really. I mean, he's that good, but he's
I can't wait for that stuff.
no, I know, that's gonna be fun, that's gonna be good, and so I'll work that out.
Okay, well you work that out, and we ain't gonna say when it's coming because we're not sure yet. But he's
I'll
one
do
that's
that.
coming up.
He
So.
is, he's coming up.
He might be available for my opinion.
Oh no, no, no.
Wait a minute.
He does not live in Hickory. He does not live in Hickory. But I never said you had to live in Hickory, did I?
Well, that's the new stipulation.
Okay. All right. Okay, has anybody else got anything else? We need to thank our sponsors real quick before we go, but, anything else we need to talk about before we do that?
No, just, we appreciate everybody joining us. We know it's our first show. We might have some problems with the sound. If we do, we're gonna address that, but,
Yeah, if you guys have any comments or any ideas or anything, any topics you want us to cover, any technical things, like I noticed somebody put on here, maybe move the camera closer.
we're gonna try some new.
Yeah, you guys comment, let us know if there's anything we need to do. You guys are actually viewing it, so we're not. So let us know if there's anything we need to do.
And we're gonna have a new table coming pretty soon. Somebody's gonna build it for us.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But he's not gonna advertise it because he don't wanna build over one.
You don't wanna build one.
Unless his wife convinces him that maybe he should.
Maybe we need to talk to his wife. We'll probably get more done if we do
I
that.
think so. I think so. So as far as sponsors, Alcom is a good one to start with. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if it wasn't for Alan Aker and Alcom.
Alan Aker fishes a little bit, don't he?
Alan Aker is going to be here too. Alan Aker is a great spinnerbait fisherman, got a lot of good tips, and I've already talked to him. He will be coming on and talking about spinnerbaits.
Well,
one
you
day
think
soon.
you can feed him enough to get him here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Not a problem.
We'll have
He's been
it.
Not a problem.
known- He's been known to take a dope or two while you're fishing.
What?
He's been known to go to.
That's a lot of information we don't need to know about
If you
here.
fish with Alan, you better say, if you got 8 hours to fish, you better say.
I heard he took his shirt off one day at the Hickory and he traumatized Seawright. God.
But Alan has been good enough to set this building up with Wi-Fi so we can do this. He has helped us out tremendously. He's even here today to make sure everything's right. So we definitely appreciate Alan and his team. You got a great team too. I mean, the people that work for you are total professionals and they do a great job. So thank you, Alan. Courtney's Creations. My God, where would we be without Courtney? Courtney does.
And she's pretty lazy, Mike.
Well, she wasn't today.
Yeah, I heard she done. Oh, she's ready to cut me off. But I heard Courtney does a great
Courtney
job.
does a great job.
If y'all need shirts, hats, or even shirts and hats from this show.
Anything.
She can.
Just message Courtney. She'll hook you up. And she is the best in the business at doing this stuff. Her stuff is really, really quality.
Company logos on shirts, hats, anything. you think
Anything,
of.
anything. Courtney does a great job.
So we got
And she
plenty-
does a good job with our technical too.
Exactly.
She does it.
We need to
Thank you, Courtney.
thank Denver Tackle,
Denver
somebody
Tackle.
just commented on there about the Denver. Troy keeps me, he really takes care of me with ice cream sandwiches, and if y'all know Troy down there, he owns Denver Tackle, and that's, Shane LeHugh's son. You know, Troy can't fish, but his son didn't learn anything from him, but, Troy's a good guy. Go down there and see him, he keeps us stocked up with some pretty good stuff down there, and, he takes care of me, so. Who else we need to, talk about?
Azteca, my favorite Mexican restaurant, Azteca. We'll talk about Azteca every week. It
With
is
the famous
the
Sea
Sea
Right
Right
lemonade.
lemonade, but it's the best Mexican food you will eat anywhere.
It is,
And that's in
it is
Gaston,
great.
yeah, on-
It's in
on
Gaston,
Franklin? On Franklin
Yep,
Boulevard,
yep.
okay.
Alfredo, the manager, great guy, I've been knowing him for many, many years, and he is friendliest, has the best service and the best food, so you need to check him out.
Shane's Baits, that's back, they're made right there at Denver Tackle, and, they're pretty famous for their A-rigs, but they make other things, spinner baits, all kinds of stuff, so.
Yeah.
It's
almost time.
it's worth checking into, especially when it gets winter time, you
Yeah.
can really catch it
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
A-rig.
Right. Okay.
Well, you know, I got a good friend, that just opened his own tackle store up in, I think it's College Springs area, Rick Reed.
Yeah, Valdez.
Is that Valdez? Y'all go check him out too. He's a good friend of mine, he's known Rick for a long time, and, he just opened his tackle store, and he's doing good, doing really good. You know, you guys go check him out and, give him some business and tell him we sent you. And I need to talk with him anyway, get some jigs made.
Mega bite bait.
Hmm.
Mega bite bait.
Yeah, Megabyte Bait, that's the name of the store. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Y'all go
Austin's
check
wanting me and you to come to High Rock and fish Saturday. Austin, I gotta fish the ABA, and I couldn't come with him anyway. This SOB can't fish. I can carry him.
All right, before we sign off, Eric, thank you
Oh,
so
thank
much.
you so
I
much.
appreciate you coming.
Appreciate you, Eric.
You're welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you.
Because I know you hadn't won your last tournament. I'm sure that.
Oh no, he's got one coming up here pretty soon.
And he's gonna win in, more than likely.
But hopefully we can get him back.
Yeah, and Annette Bowman, I will meet you when you are coming to Azteca, I promise.
And bring you your certificate.
Yep, I'll bring it to you, we'll mail it to you, however you want to do that, we'll do that, so. That's all I got, guys. Unless you-
All right, well, I guess we can sign her off.
All right, thank you.
Thank
very
y'all.
much. Appreciate it.